and welcome back to my channel. This morning my daughter asked me if she and her husband could come tonight for dinner and to also watch the basketball playoffs. Of course I told her yes. I had some ground beef I pulled out of the freezer to thaw. I also had part of a chopped onion in the refrigerator. I had some partial bags of berries and a container of Cool Whip and some strawberry jello. And so I made a quick berry jello salad. I decided to make sloppy joes out of the ground beef and the onions, and I had the rest of the ingredients that I would need, but I did not have hamburger buns. So I decided that I would make those instead of running to the store for them. So I put 4 cups of warm water, 1 tablespoon of yeast, and a ½ cup of sugar into my mixer, and I let that sit for a little while to get nice and frothy. I then added 2 tablespoons of salt and a ½ cup of vegetable oil to the mixer bowl. Next, I'll be adding in 10 cups of flour, but I think by the time I was done, it was closer to 11 cups. I just kept mixing and adding a ½ cup of flour at a time and then mixing again until I came up with a very sticky dough that looked like this. I thought that it was too sticky even. I kneaded it on the second speed for 5 minutes, and this is after the kneading as I attempt to get it out of the mixer bowl into the bowl I have with a little bit of vegetable oil coating it. It was a little problematic getting it out of the mixer bowl and into my large bowl, but I need to go find a scraper, a bowl scraper, and then I don't think it will be an issue at all. And you may be thinking, or you may be yelling at me right now saying that is just way too sticky. You need to add more flour to that. But after the first rise, this was the nicest dough to work with, and it made the most tender, fluffy hamburger buns that I am going to do it this way from now on. And yes, I agree, it does look like a hot mess. I'm flipping the dough over so that the top and the bottom both are evenly coated with vegetable oil. I'm covering the bowl loosely with plastic wrap, or you can use a clean kitchen towel. While I'm making something for my lunch, I then brown off the ground beef and get the sloppy joe mix in the crock pot with all the other ingredients. And it will cook for about 4 or 5 hours. Halfway on high and the other half on low. The bread dough has taken about 1.5 hours to double in size. It's very warm in my kitchen. It's summertime in Phoenix, so it's very warm everywhere. But it turned out beautifully. So I sprayed a baking sheet with nonstick cooking spray, and now I am punching the dough down. And I began shaping the hamburger rolls. The first two that I made were just a smidge too big. They were just jumbo-sized hamburger buns. So you're just going to take a ball and roll it and shape it like you would a regular dinner roll. Only make it a little bit bigger and then flatten it down onto the pan so that it is more of a hamburger bun shape instead of a ball or a dinner roll shape. And I was able to get 19 rolls out of this recipe, but some of them were a little bigger than they should have been or that I would have liked them to be. So I think that you can get 20 to 21 rolls out of this recipe, maybe 22 if you made them a little bit smaller than I did. You're basically just making a large dinner roll and then you're going to flatten it down. You don't want to flatten it down too much. I might have flattened mine down a little too much. Some of them had a nice dome on them. I have 3 recipes that are my go-to bread or roll recipes. And I wasn't sure which one would work out the best for hamburger rolls. But I decided to use the recipe that was my friend Marcia's for cinnamon bread, that she used for her cinnamon bread. And I was very happy in that I think that it was the best choice for hamburger rolls. It made a really soft and very fine textured hamburger roll with a very soft crust. I didn't have to put any butter on the crust at all. Everyone in my family just raved about them. The last pan of rolls that I shaped turned out the best and the most consistent in size. I wanted to give a shout out to my son, who's having a birthday on the day that I will post this on YouTube. Happy birthday, Matt. Your dad and I love you very much. So plastic wrap goes back over these, and they are left for about another hour to rise until double in size. And then here's what they look like. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I baked these for 18 minutes. 15 wasn't quite enough. 18 was just perfect. The other pan of rolls is more golden brown on the bottom than this one was. These are very hot, and I'm trying to put them onto a cooling rack. So I think that they turned out just gorgeous, and the house smells heavenly. You're going to want to let them cool completely before you cut them in half. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm getting ready for dinner. I'm cutting them in half and putting them back in a bag so that when everyone's ready to eat, we can just make our plate and we don't have to be cutting rolls in half. So I'm just cutting them ahead of time here. So these are ready to go here now. And I'm just going to fill another large bag and put it in my freezer so that I have them when I need rolls or buns. And then I also put a couple of bags with just 2 in each one. I was so happy that my daughter and son-in-law could join us for dinner this night, and happy that it turned out that I was able to find enough things in my freezer and refrigerator to feed them. And so now the starving masses have sat down with their food, and I am going to make my plate up. There's the Sloppy Joe mix on the roll, and my husband and my daughter like mayonnaise on the hamburger bun, but I'm a purist. I just like it plain, unless I'm toasting the roll and then I put some butter on it. So there you have Sloppy Joes with homemade hamburger buns. And there's a serving of some of the berry salad that I made. Thank you so much for joining me as I made homemade hamburger buns today. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. Either way, it gets me noticed on YouTube. And please consider subscribing if you haven't already. It's free. All you have to do is just click that button. Goodbye.